Welcome to the Curry Gumbo Podcast with Nicole and Ashley, and today we have another 90s movie review. Stay tuned. Okay, B.A.P.S came out in 97, and this is another Robert Townsend production.
Woo!
And Ruth Carter. Ruth Carter do all the... It's like, I'm happy for her, but I'm like, are there any other Black costume designers? Like, does Ruth have all the jobs? Like, is there
I don't know.
anybody else? Because she been doing this since, what, 4 decades, the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s with Black Panther. Is anybody else got a job?
Nope.
Is she hiring?
Okay, that's what you need to be asking.
Like, is she hiring? She got an apprentice in case she wants to like retire a step back. Can someone else like step up and do the job?
We was just talking about Baby Boy. Ruth Carter did the costume design on that, child.
She like the only... It's like, I'm happy, but I'm like, is she really the only one?
I just love it because she understands Black folk, Black bodies, Black culture.
I love it too, but I want there to be like, I want to know more costume designers. I want to be
And
like,
I'm sure there are. Like we've gone the next film we do, I'm sure that Ruth Carter will not have done.
she gonna do it. Okay, this was also written by Troy Bayer.
Mm-hmm.
Troy Bayer, she has a face that's kind of familiar, but not really recognizable to me. I know she was an actress in, I think, the 80s, and she makes an appearance in this movie. And now she is a psychologist, but she wrote this movie, B.A.P.S, which I was like, okay, girl.
So, Troy is from New York City.
Yeah, she's not Southern. I saw your Instagram about
Yeah.
this doesn't feel like the South.
Halle Berry is from Cleveland, Ohio, so we got the Midwest.
Yeah.
Natalie Reed is from the South. She's from Louisiana. Robert Townsend is from Chicago, Illinois. Most of the film is in LA, so I'm going to leave that alone. But when Halle Berry did not feel Southern to me.
No, I sent you, I don't know if you read it, I sent you like this review about B.A.P.S, and they just kind of ripped it apart. There was like, they look ghetto, Halle Berry dressed like a prostitute and with the gold, and I was just like, well, damn, I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, they got the 90s Southern aesthetic.
With the hair, definitely. With the clothes, I've never seen any. I mean, I think that the mood...
It was exaggerated, but
the mood, yeah. The mood felt appropriate, but it's also exaggerated because this is a film, and we also want these two people to be able to stand out. Like, even in the South, at a club, they would stand out. You know what I mean? Even the diner that they were in, like her calling... So Dolomite is in the film. It's so cute, and his name it says in Townsend on his
I saw that on
uniform.
his uniform, yeah.
A nod to the director. And it will be interesting once we watch Dolomite. It'll be interesting to see like what is the obsession. Like, Black men at this time, like older Black men of this time, like love them some Dolomite. Like, what is going on? Bernie Mac owns a restaurant. Mickey, played by Natalie Reed, and Niecy, played by Halle Berry, work there. Mickey is working she's the cook. Niecy is a waitress. So she brings Mr. Nate his food, and she calls him Nate. No woman that age is going to call an older man by his first name. None from the South. So like, that was like
clue number one.
Also, the
Mr.
music.
Townsend can do his research.
the music that they're playing is like Craig Mack and somebody else. I'm like, we'll play some other
Yeah,
music
because
that
for it to be Atlanta, Atlanta has always been a city that loved their own artists. Like there was
Mhm.
a time when you would hear stuff on the radio in Atlanta only in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta had their own like we had our own superstars before they were big else if they ever made it big elsewhere. Like we know who they were. Nobody else did, but that's
Monica never has to work like, if people forget about Monica tomorrow, Atlanta won't.
yeah, Atlanta loves their artists. And it's always been like that.
And the reason why that was such, because Niecy is so eager to leave. And I just what
Which
I
is interesting. Because if I think about my life, and maybe you might relate to this too, in the 90s, my mother wanted to move to Atlanta
Mhm.
because she had like friends from high school, a couple of friends from high school that would move to Atlanta like in the 90s. And she was just like, we moving to Atlanta. And I was like, where is Atlanta? Like coming from Boston. I'm like, I
Because
don't know nothing past New York.
everybody
So
was
she was
making
like,
shit shake. It was like already Black Hollywood
yeah, my
in
mom,
Atlanta.
just that, my mom was like, listen, I'm about to say, because we was living with my grandmother, and she was like, we gonna be in Atlanta. And I'm like, okay, but why?
Mhm.
And we did. So yeah, so when you say that her wanting to leave, I was like, that's interesting because Atlanta was a place where everybody wanted, even in the 90s, people was
Yeah.
trying to move to Atlanta.
And I know that you are born in Boston, but I consider
Yeah.
you a Southern girl.
Yeah, I grew
I
up, that's
am
elementary, middle, high school, college.
I am born in the South. I am raised in the South. I've never lived anywhere other than the South. Now, I am a Southern person. So I guess I felt a way because I'm like, to me the film is offering a type of critique that I don't think that the South necessarily deserves. Like why, like they could have been in Ohio trying to get to LA. Do you know what I'm saying? Like this
Yeah,
doesn't,
I understand
why
why
did this have to be specific to the South?
I understand Atlanta being appealing because it is a hot city. It was a hot
Mhm.
city back in this movie came out in 97. The Olympics was in 96. I mean, Atlanta was hot
Mhm.
even before then. So I understand the appeal, but I think you needed people actually from Atlanta working with Robert Townsend and Troy Byer to kind of get the essence of Atlanta. They
Yeah.
probably thinking, "Oh, this is the hot city." So, of course, just like when people make a show about Miami, oh, Miami is a hot city, but you need to be connected to the people in
I
Miami. All
feel
the
like
people
it's a little bit more sinister than that, to be quite honest. I think
okay,
that like there's a lot of summaries that I see where they call the girls tacky, and I feel like when
yeah,
people think we're tacky people from the South, they don't know how to act down there, and I
true.
just feel like I have never, like when Niecy is on the plane reading the Beverly Hills Book of Manners, I'm like, manners are so ingrained
And
in in
Southern hospitality, yeah,
we just watched Baby Boy, and Peanut is going to pick up her child from Jody's mom's house, and she said, "Hey, Juanita, now you know you out your fucking mind if you gonna call your baby daddy mama by her first name. You out your mind if you gonna do that in the South. You know good and goddamn well that shit ain't gonna fly.
nope.
I don't like it.
No, I
You
get it.
you critique Chicago. You from Chicago. You critique Chicago.
I get it.
Cause that
I
the
was
niggas ain't moving to Chicago to make it big. They was still moving to LA.
exactly, or even Atlanta. Everybody was
Hello,
moving to Atlanta in the 90s.
hello. Get out of here.
my whole high school, middle school and high school was like half people. It was like many like fake wars between people who was like from Atlanta and people whose families moved to Atlanta in the
Right.
90s. That was a thing in high school.
Anyway,
I was gonna say, how do you think? Well, we kind of mentioned it, how this represented 90s Atlanta, but also how has the portrayal of Atlanta in movies, I guess, evolved? And I
this
just,
didn't even look like Atlanta to me. This did not look like Decatur. This looked like a fucking soundstage. Like I did not feel this. I like let's take Atlanta out of it. I didn't feel the South. I did not feel the
yeah.
urban South. Didn't feel it. I don't care how many people you put a gold tooth. It's like everybody had a damn gold tooth, one, two, or three of them, and it still did not feel like the South to me.
Okay. If BAPS was to be redone, do you, because that was talks too.
I think
Um,
people need to leave BAPS alone.
but would it be a different city?
I feel like people will be coming from LA trying to get to Atlanta. It will be
Yeah,
Nicki Minaj. Notice Nicki Minaj always say I had to move to Atlanta to make some
she
shit pop.
did. She did. Okay. So BAPS, two friends from Atlanta, Niecy and Mickey, are trying to go to LA to audition for a Heavy D video. Quick synopsis. At the audition, they meet a man who offers them $10,000 to act like a dying man's Mr. Blakemore's lost love's granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Niecy and Mickey and Mr. Blakemore, they kind of start to really enjoy the time they spend together. So that's kind of a quick synopsis. Would you consider this more like a hip hop movie? Because I noticed in the beginning when they're in the diner on the TV, they have Idalis, which was a real MTV host. I remember her. And then we have Heavy D. We have different cameos. Leon, Downtown Julie Brown. So would you say this is more of, I don't know, like a MTV generation hip hop,
Yeah, I mean,
pop,
I
pop
think
culture?
to me this is just a buddy comedy. Like even before it's like a romantic comedy, it's a buddy comedy. It's fitting for a lot of these stars to be in the film because we want the girls to be starstruck because
Yeah.
they're from Atlanta. Even though even in the 90s, I remember you could go to Lenox Mall and see Aaliyah. Like even though there were stars in Atlanta that you could see, you know,
Yeah.
they have not
You make a
seen
good
many
point.
people.
You make a good point because that is true.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna put the South in it, you didn't make this Albany, Georgia. You didn't make
Nah,
this like
this ain't
fucking
Savannah.
right. You didn't make this Oxford, Mississippi. You didn't make this Opelika. You made this Atlanta.
Decatur. You
Child, get
can
the
see
fuck out of
people in
here.
Decatur. You even gotta go all the way to Lenox to see somebody.
Hell, T.S. Madison live in Conyers, Georgia, where all the other stars live. Like everybody live in the damn outskirts. A lot of people don't even live downtown or in
Nobody.
Midtown or in
That's foolish.
Buckhead. Like,
Who wants to
child,
do that?
anyway, what I am interested in with this film is the closeness between Mickey and Niecy. I, upon rewatching it, it's a closeness that I miss because we've been talking about a lot of different films that feature Black women and they don't have friends. Love and Basketball,
Yes.
Barbarian.
Hmm.
You know, other than like Waiting to Exhale, I'm trying to think of
And that was like a
other.
friend group,
Right.
just one bestie. Like,
Yeah.
who's your good bestie that you can call, if you're want to vent.
Like this. like it moved beyond friendship. Like it felt like a union, not romantic at all. But why does Mickey need to go to LA? She don't want to be in the Heavy D video.
She
Niecy
don't
want to
need
be in the
to.
Heavy D
Yeah.
video. And when they talk about the savings account, they say our. It's always our. You want to dump our savings account into this. Why y'all got a joint savings account? Their outfits are always coordinated. When they move
Yep.
into the Blakemore residence, they sleep in the same bed, even though I know this man got several rooms. Y'all don't have to sleep together. I don't think anything funny is, I don't think same-sex relations are funny, but I don't think that anything romantic is going on at all.
No,
But
they're
I
just
do think
friends.
it's like leaning towards sisterhood. And but even sisters, if my sister want to move to Alaska, I don't need to go with her. But there is this assumption that they will always be together, whether they're working together or like they will create lives where they are together. That is what I appreciated, because it seemed like the romantic relationship between Niecy and her boyfriend, like that just came second to the relationship between the two women.
Yes, the friendship was first.
Yeah.
Even when Mickey was liking on Antonio, Niecy was right there, like, okay, girl, like, what we doing?
Had Monica had a good girlfriend in Love and Basketball, she would have had a good girlfriend say like, "Hey, no, you should have went back to the dorm room. You had a curfew. You wasn't wrong. But if you need me to sneak him in, I'll help you there." You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
You should have had a
Niecy.
new girlfriend, hook her up with somebody else. Get her a new boyfriend. That's what she needed, a new boyfriend.
Ooh, ooh, okay, all right, yeah. But she's telling Mickey like, "Hey, this don't feel right. This you getting real close to Antonio, because they seem really interested in each other you know, ever since they first meet, and we learn that this was a part of his scheme
Mhm.
that he set up with Todd to bring us the bull.
So they're in this house pretending to be Mr. Blakemore's lost love's granddaughter. But then we find out the lost love never had any kids, so she couldn't have grandkids. It's interesting how the reason they came there is because they were promised $10,000. But then as they get there and they kind of start to form form a relationship with Mr. Blakemore, Mickey's in the kitchen cooking soul food. What the butler is trying to say, oh, I heard that food is unhealthy. And she was like, not the way I make it. We can make it healthy. We can make it good. Whatever this bland food, get some seasoning. Mr. Blakemore needs some seasoning in his life to aliven his spirit. And so they're caring for him in a way. They're taking him
Mhm.
out. They're going out with him, like doing stuff his own people in his circle, his family, they're not doing for him. They're not taking him out nowhere. They're
Yeah.
not having fun with him. They just waiting on him to die. And then we later learn that it's like his family that's trying to like steal the money from him. And they was gonna blame it on Mickey and Niecy. But then was it Mr. Blakemore, he kind of finds out and he's like, yo, how much money did they offer you or whatever? He tries to give them a check and they're like, nah, we're not taking the money. I
I
think a couple
didn't quite
times.
believe that,
They didn't
because I
take
feel
it.
like I would have believed them saying, "Hey, we could really use this, but let me just tell you what happened."
Right.
I can believe them fessing up to the truth and still taking the cash. But child, it didn't matter because he done left them niggas everything.
Had his family shook. I was like, what? How do you feel about the word BAPS?
No. Black American princesses. First of all, I am anti-monarchy, so I don't believe in princesses. I don't believe there should be a
Oh,
princess.
I'm not
But
queens. Black American was
that's
back
still the monarchy.
back.
I don't like when people call me queen. Like, "Hey queen, how you doing?" I would rather
That's
people
something that's totally different. That's super annoying. That is that whole "Hey Queen,"
I don't like it. But
my king. He's my
ugh,
king.
it's my boyfriend. It's my man friend. It's my partner.
Uh, no, he's my king.
Do you think what do you think Niecy wants? Cuz I was kind of confused. Like what does Niecy want in this film?
I guess at what stage? Because first, I mean, she's out there to. Well, she wanted an escape. Okay, so going back
An escape from what?
from life in Atlanta,
What was
the
wrong with
fake
her life in
Atlanta,
Atlanta?
she wanted something more. Her boyfriend, she felt like I think she felt like she was regular. Her job was regular. Her boyfriend was irregular. She just wanted something fresh and new. She wanted to dance with Heavy D. She wanted some limelight, like something exciting, like just to get out, just to experience. I just wanted to experience something new.
I just kind of felt like when she kept saying like I deserve better than this. What is this? What are you talking cuz it just sounds like you want money.
I don't know if it's just money,
What is
but
it?
just excitement, fun.
How was she having fun at Mr. Blakemore place?
They was having fun. They was going out to the club, in the
They
pool,
went out to the Gold Tooth.
and that big old mansion. I don't know. I kind of think it's
Do you
just
see how it feels materialistic to me?
it does feel materialistic, but I also can see just getting outside of your comfort zone. I think every young person needs to experience living outside of the city they grew up in.
Sure.
I
Sure,
think
absolutely.
I kind of feel bad for people who are born and raised and live in the same city and just never lived anywhere. I'm like, please, even just for a year, go somewhere else and just do something else for a year. You can go back to your hometown if you need to.
So the two girls, they want to open up a salon slash restaurant. Like that is the dream. That's what they want. I can I feel like I have seen Mickey be connected to that dream more than Niecy is connected to the dream of doing hair. Because
Yeah,
I
you didn't
see
really see
Mickey
her do
cooking.
hair.
I didn't see a passion for doing hair. And I get like man, like I'm stuck at this dead end job. My bosses treat me like crap. I just, my boyfriend, he doesn't have a car to come pick me up from work. He didn't even walk me home from work. It's just gosh, I just want something else. But saying like we deserve more than this and motioning towards the people who are selling sunglasses on the side of the road just felt a little elitist to me. And I just felt like, okay, like other than money, what is the problem with where you live? Because I think Mr. Blakemore kind of gets her together when, she was like, yeah, my boyfriend, he doesn't have any passion, he doesn't have any drive, he doesn't want to do anything. And he was like, yeah, I was the same. But if her boyfriend was rich without any drive, would this be an issue?
Probably not.
So that's what I'm saying. And I also think that, like his bumper pager, like he wants to start this
Uber.
car service with his friend,
He
and he has a dream.
he want to start Uber.
Yeah, like he has a dream. And I kind of feel like, you kind of shit on it just a little bit. And you ain't even got a driver's license. Like, well, okay. Yeah,
I
he needs to get a driver's license, but
I understand your point, but I also feel like if we're thinking of them, if they're supposed to be in their 20s, and if this is a person she's been with for like a long-term relationship,
mhm,
I kind of feel like when you're young, you kind of just want to see what else there is. Like, okay, if I'm gonna be with this man forever, like, damn, like, am I really gonna be with this man forever? Like, let me just see what else there is, or taste a different life and see if I like it or not.
mhm. And that's fine. That's fine. I think that in doing that, she kind of villainized the
Yeah,
area she was around and her boyfriend, right?
yep,
Because
she
I would
did.
think if you had to, like, he doesn't have a driver's license, but it also sounds like he doesn't have a car.
Yep,
So how he getting a driver's license without a car? Last time I checked, they didn't give you no car to take the test. You had to have a car. You know what I'm saying?
true.
Like, I feel like if her boyfriend had access to certain resources, a lot of these critiques she would not have. And so that's why I'm my question always returns to, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? I can see if it's like, gosh, like, you couldn't even make it here to pick me up on time from work, like that says something about how he values her and their relationship, sure. But I just kind of feel like, was that the issue, or is the issue you're just upset with the lack of money in your life right now?
Every hometown can be, no matter how big your hometown is, it can still feel small.
Mhm.
And every place is going to be different. Even if you live in New York, you might, I want to go to LA. If you live in LA, I want to move to New York. Like, it's
Mhm.
every hometown can still feel small, and you just
Yeah.
want something different. And the money can be a part of that too. Not saying
Yeah.
money is not a wasn't part of that dream, but I also can see being like, can we do something? Let me try to be in this heavy video. Let me just see if I can. At least just to tell my grandkids I was in the heavy D video.
Child, the delusion.
Mickey told Heavy D she the next Monifa. I was like, ooh, that ain't age well.
Why you mean it didn't age well?
Because people don't know, if you're young, you're not
Monifa,
gonna
yeah,
know
they
who
don't know
Monifa
Monifa
is.
at all. Monifa be like randomly popping up on Raven Simone's social media, and people, I'm sure people like, who's that with Raven Simone? That's Monifa, girl. And I'm the next Monifa.
The men in this video were, would you say they're pretty vulnerable towards the end?
Very.
Mickey's boyfriend crying. Why should you have to wear your Sunday clothes on Wednesday?
Speaking of Mickey's clothes, this is why you gotta have Ruth Carter's on the set. When they in that pool, I think Mickey's sexy as fuck. I think her body is banging, but she's not skinny. But she got an hourglass shape. And so when they're in the pool, she has on like a bathing suit, but she also has on like these pants. It's like, you got in the pool with some pants on, girl. But I can see someone of Mickey's size wanting to be a little bit more conservative
Kind of
in the
covering
pool,
up.
because this is way before body positivity movement, and her body would not have been valued. Her body would especially not be valued next to Halle Berry, even though I'm like, man, Mickey is the one with that ass
Halle
and
Berry
them
was just looked
curves.
really skinny.
Huh?
Halle Berry she was looked really thin.
She did. Halle Berry do got hips though. She got shape now. She's shapely, but she ain't Mickey. Nah, Mickey got that weight on that ass. But I felt like it was probably so important to have a black woman in the room
Yes.
going, here's what we're going to do for her in this pool scene. And I also like that Mickey stays stylish. Like she always
Mm,
looked good. I feel like they just throw paper bags on larger women and not Mickey. Mickey looked good.
no, she always had an outfit and the hair and the color. Not afraid of doing color and prints, which I think is important.
Now, what I thought was unfortunate, but it was very smart of like Ruth Carter is like their clothing. But this, I don't care for the character development. Like their clothing and hair got a lot more conservative as the film
Yeah,
went on, and I was like, what that patent leather at?
there's a critique about that too. A review that said, as you know, they got rid of the gold teeth and the big hair. As so, it's like, as are you trying to say that once you get rid of those things, you're
Yeah,
evolved?
because they were already good.
Yeah,
They already had manners. They were already caring. They were already kind spirits. They were already fun. They were already good people. So the gold teeth and the hair and the wild outfits, that didn't, what did that matter? I think that's an appropriate critique.
Niecy's boyfriend comes back at the end.
Ali.
Mr. Blakemore flies him out, and it seems like he did a change of heart. Well, he got his life together, I guess, and they had a heart to heart.
Well, he cut his hair, he had a perm,
Mm-hmm.
and but he cut his hair. But also I feel like that deserves some criticism too, because what is wrong
Yeah,
with him having long hair? It feels like they begin to buy into respectability in a
yeah,
way that doesn't feel fitting with their characters, especially if once they open up the salon and the restaurant, Rodney Dennis Rodman is like one of their clients, and I'm like, but you about to give him blue hair. So y'all still into like these wild extreme styles. So why can't y'all's personal style reflect that as well?
and going back to if this is supposed to be Atlanta, Bronner Brothers was a big deal, and
Come
they had
on
the
again.
extravagant styles.
Cause
I remember.
baby, you don't even need no license to do no hair. Trust.
You remember when Ricky Lake used to have like the hair, like her little mini hair shows? People used to go on Ricky Lake with big like hair shows,
I don't
hairstyles.
remember it, but I can believe it. I do believe it.
Ricky Lake had all the black women just showing off, putting zippers in their hair, bird feathers, and it was like celebrated. She wasn't like, it wasn't a negative thing. It was like, oh my god, look at this. Oh my god, she has a peacock flying out her head. Like it was a show. And so yeah, that definitely should have been part of their salon. Yeah, they ain't bring Atlanta to LA. They missed they missed the mark. It's funny how their that business, the Page a Cab, is literally Uber.
Child.
Now we just need a hair salon with a restaurant in the back, which I'm sure there is one. Because who don't need to order some food while they're getting their hair done?
I'm trying to tell you. Take 4 hours to put some braids in. I need
Oh,
a plate.
a braid shop definitely need a restaurant in the back. and make it an African. If it's an African braid shop, I want some African food. Give me some
get on
jollof.
it. Get on it, America.
Yeah. Someone needs to make that a thing for real.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with another film and more opinions. Leave a review and tell us what you'd like for us to watch. And let's keep the convo going on Instagram. You can find us at Curry Gumbo. Be well. Happy watching. Love y'all. Bye.